Hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to Lightning Storm, the series where lightning always strikes twice as we talk about everything that has happened for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. Now, it's a Friday episode of Lightning Storm, and you probably know what happened earlier thanks to my live reaction, which you can check out here on the Toku YouTube channel. We had a Fan First Friday, and this one was primarily focused on the brand new Zord Ascension Project expansion for the Lightning Collection. We had already seen our first details of the Zord Ascension Project back at Hasbro PulseCon in October, when they kind of revealed that very early prototype of the Dino Megazord, and today we got like the full look at it, plus a little bit more Lightning Collection news to talk about, so let's go ahead and dive right on into it. So today's Fan First Friday kicked off at 11 a.m. on the Hasbro Pulse YouTube channel, as they typically do, with a fun little skit about the guys who are going to be involved in this, current live stream, and just having some fun in the Hasbro offices. And then they had like a whole little battle going on of Lightning Collection figures on the table, some that have been released, or a lot that have been released, and some that have not, like Wave 11 and all that good stuff. But there was one in the background that had not been announced yet, and they did officially announce it here. Figure number 114, the Power Rangers Lightning Collection in Space Red Ecliptor figure. So I first told you that this was going to be happening back in September, and here it is finally, the official reveal of Red Ecliptor. Now, I was not expecting there to be any Lightning Collection figure reveals today, since the social media posts for this event talked all about them talking about Zord Ascension Project, but this was a very nice, pleasant surprise. So they didn't go into like a great amount of detail. We didn't get to see his box or anything like that. No promo pictures out there or anything like that for him just yet. But we do get to see a little bit of details, like the fact that they've remolded his head and his arm from his original Amazon exclusive 2-pack release, which is still not out yet just yet. And now we have this version. It's out in China, but now we have this version officially announced. So that's kind of funny here. They also did a brand new sword, because he does have a different sword in this mode than he did in his original mode. So they did change it up a little bit, but for the majority of it, it's mainly just a repaint of the pre-existing Ecliptor we saw back during Power Month. Now, this one is not up for pre-order just yet. They did say that you're going to be able to pre-order it from your favorite fan channel retailers, so it's not a retail release, but it's going to be a fan channel release. So like Hasbro Pulse, Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store, GameStop, that kind of stuff. And it's supposed to be out, or you're supposed to be able to pre-order it spring 2022. They were very vague on when you can pre-order it, kind of like the Andros figure situation where we're going to have to kind of wait for details on it. But here we go, we got it, we see it now, we knew it was coming, and it's nice to officially see it. But that's all there was for Lightning Collection figure reveals. The rest of the live stream, besides the Boom Studios portion of it, which I'm not going to cover, because I don't cover comic news here, but there was some cool comic news for the Power Rangers and Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers Universe series going on. But the main focus was the brand new Zord Ascension Project, which got a pretty rocky start back at PulseCon when all they had to show was this 3D printed, hand-painted model, which that was fine. But then they had to ruin it with that brand new NFT special edition version that everybody hated. So thankfully they did not announce anything like that today, but we kind of got more details on the regular version of it. And there's a lot of really cool things going on here. So while this is under a brand new name, the Zord Ascension Project, it is specifically part of the Lightning Collection. It's on the box, it was featured in the Lightning Collection portion of the stream, and it's on all the listings, it's on all the promo pictures. This is 100% part of the Lightning Collection, so we're going to cover everything Zord Ascension Project here on Lightning Storm, just as we do with any other figure. So, we knew Dino Megazord was a thing. We finally got to see all the Zords in their individual modes. So, of course, the T-Rex, the Sabretooth, Pterodactyl, Triceratops, and Mastodon. They look fantastic. I mean, they look like pretty much any other versions of the Dino Megazord configuration that you would expect, but I'm impressed with it. I think it looks great. And there's a lot of really cool details that we did not necessarily know about, that we didn't really get to see in detail at PulseCon because it was a very static model they couldn't really move. So of course this can combine. It can combine into the regular Megazord mode, the individual Zords, and the tank mode. It was based off of early concept art, which they looked at both like the Sentai footage, the Power Rangers stuff, concept art for Ranger and Daijujin and everything, so they still took some liberties with it, like that weird kind of grading pattern on the Pterodactyl chest, which I'm not that big of a fan of. We saw that on the NFT one, and it's definitely here on the main one, but I don't know. It's kind of a strange decision to do, but design choice. But I think it kind of is fine. More details about it here. The tail can be removed from the T-Rex for more articulation, so that way you can move it around. There's like a waist joint and everything, and a hip crunch in the T-Rex. Each Zord, which this is really, really cool, has a cockpit for the individual Rangers. So we knew that there was that sticker in the head of the Megazord, which is where all 5 of the Rangers are for Megazord mode. But there's going to be little Rangers molded in the cockpit for the Zords, which is really, really cool. So each Zord has a little cockpit that you can find a Ranger sitting in, which looks like a pretty accurate representation of the actual cockpits for the show. For such a small thing, I think it definitely works. I think it definitely looks pretty good. And then we also have some more details about it, such as the fact that there's going to be some panels that you can remove from the Mastodon, which you can take those panels and you can put them on the back of the legs to be, like heel pieces, some stabilization pieces, which, that's great. I don't want this thing toppling over, so I really, really like that. And they were talking about some other details, like some M's that they've sculpted on, like, the hands, which there's going to be swappable hands for this guy. His sword is going to have, like, some detailing on it and everything. They just kind of went all out and making this a really nice, premium-looking Megazord. There's still some things that are not as premium about it. I don't believe there's any die-cast on this thing. I can see some hollowness in the saber-toothed tiger legs that people are kind of upset about and everything, which I get it for, like, a premium Megazord. I mean, this is no Soul of Chogokin, but it's also kind of not as good as the Legacy in terms of that regard, but it's definitely better than Legacy in terms of like articulation and maybe overall presentation, possibly. I think the presentation on this thing is phenomenal. It's fantastic. They're really trying to put a lot of effort into the presentation and the packaging and everything, which we should talk about here now. They wanted to make it clear that this is not the Megazord Ascension Project. This is the Zord Ascension Project, meaning anything is on the table. It doesn't have to be a Megazord that combines, like, it doesn't have to be like a 5-piece Megazord traditional thing. We already know, I've told you back in September, they're working on a Dragon Zord for this as well. They did not say anything about Dragon Zord today, but that 100% is coming, so be sure to, stay on the lookout for that. It's also supposed to come out next year to go alongside the Megazord. But they did say that anything's on the table. Anything from the show, movies, video games, comics. They said stuff that doesn't even exist yet that will happen in the future. They kind of implied that even if their design team comes up with something like original, they could potentially do it, which is very, very interesting. I'm not sure if they would probably ever explore that option. I don't even know what that would really mean, but they did say it, or they said some version of that. So very interesting kind of ideas of what we could get from this. And they want to talk about the fact that they are numbering these in a very interesting way. This is labeled MZ0101. So every single one of these is going to be has a special numbering sequence to it. So obviously Megazord, 01 being Mighty Morphin Season 1, being the first season of the show, and 01 being that it appeared in the first episode. So this is MZ0101. So I assume when we get Dragon Zord, it would be like MZ01, what was that, like 19 or 20? Whichever one Dragon Zord debuts in during Agreement with Evil, is what I kind of gather the numbering system would be from this. Because they want this to be an archive of information about the Zords. So the box itself is supposed to look like some kind of like online archive that you're accessing of Zords, and it has that information down there in its little number code. Now, as I've said before, my stance on the NFT stuff is that I will not cover it here, but I do want to just briefly say that they did briefly kind of address the variance version that we see for the NFT. It's going to be regarded as like MZ0101.2 or something. They didn't really make that very clear, and that's not what the NFT box says, but not talking about that one. But they did say this line opens the door for different variations, different repaints for them to do and such like that. So possibly expect that, or maybe more black and gold versions or something, but obviously they've already explored repaint options for the very first one, so I'm sure they'll probably keep doing it here. So looking at the box, it looks absolutely beautiful. It looks pretty much like the NFT one, except for obviously it has like, the main colors on it. When you open up the box, you have a nice look at like the Megazord cockpit kind of design. It looks beautiful. This is going to be part of their plastic-free package initiative for 2022, so while we don't really actually get to see how it's like strapped in there, there shouldn't be like really any plastic trays or anything like that, so don't expect that. But they also showed off like a full print of the box, not assembled yet. It has like a nice matte finish to it, some glossy parts. Beautiful. I mean, I think Lightning Collection boxes have always looked amazing, and I think this one is right up there. It does not seem to have any Tom Whalen artwork on it, so it's not going to fit with like regular Lightning Collection figure boxes. It's also a black box, not a white box. But I think that's all just to the point of them differentiating the Zord Ascension Project as its own new thing, but is still part of the Lightning Collection. It's just a whole other subsection of it, which is very interesting. Definitely not what I would have expected for Lightning Collection Zords. I figured Zords were an inevitability, but I figured they would be kind of like the roleplay items, where they would just kind of be a bigger, more premium part of the Lightning Collection and not go this all out on it. So, very impressed by that. They did mention that they're building a whole webpage for this. There'll be an online archive for information on Zords with downloadable content, all to kind of tie this into being an experience beyond just collecting. Now, They didn't really go into specifics of what that means. If the site, I'm assuming it'd be like on Pulse or something, what kind of downloadable content that you could have. I don't know. They said that they were still exploring options with that, so they weren't ready to say a lot about it, but that's going to be very interesting. I'm definitely going to make sure that I archive all that stuff as best as I can for the Lightning logbook that I'm always updating, which will be made public again hopefully soon. I'm just still updating it. That's why it's been down for a couple months. But yeah, I mean, that sounds like an archiver's dream/nightmare. I'm going to definitely make sure that I keep an archive of all of that, because that's going to be very, very, very important information to me regarding the history and preservation of the Lightning collection. But of course, here's the details of where you can get this thing if you want to get it yourself. What's really great is that I was told it was going to cost $200, and that's what I told you guys for months, and it doesn't. So that's fantastic. Yes, technically was I wrong? Yes, but I would rather be wrong about it being, more. I would rather be wrong and it be more cheaper than it be more expensive. So while the NFT version costs $200, this one is going to cost $165.99, so $166. And it will be a fan channel release. It's available on Hasbro Pulse right now, Hasbro Pulse Regular, and also Hasbro Pulse UK. It's also going to be available on Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store, GameStop, and such. I don't know all of their prices. I don't know if they're going to have any variation on the 165, but it's possible they might. But those will be down in the description below whenever they go live. And it's listed as an August 1st release, 2022 on Hasbro Pulse, and possibly different dates on different websites. If there are different dates and I find out about them while I'm editing this video, I'll pop them up here. So, hey, it's Lightning Storm Editing Josh version here. So I'm in the middle of editing the episode that you're watching right now, and Entertainment Earth has put up the pre-order for the Zord Ascension Project Megazord. It has a July 2022 release date here on Entertainment Earth. And a big shout out to Praeternia on Twitter, who posted that not only can you pre-order off of Entertainment Earth, but there's a promo code going out there right now on Entertainment Earth to get $15 off of this thing. So you can actually get it for $150-ish on Entertainment Earth, and I believe that would definitely be free shipping. So link that would definitely be in the link in the description below, as well as the promo code will be popping up here on screen and also in the description. So I'm going to switch my pre-order from Pulse over to that. That's a great deal. So back to the video. It's about 10.5 to 11.5 inches, somewhere in that ballpark in terms of height, so if you want to have a reference on that. It's a 1/144th scaled Megazord, so it's supposed to scale with like model kit buildings and such like that. So if you buy like some broken buildings or some kind of battle scenery set, if you collect like Gundams or something and you have that kind of stuff, it should scale in that kind of, point, that kind of diorama kind of setup. So that's really cool. You don't get any of that, but they made it so that way it works with that kind of stuff. And that's basically it. That's basically it for this week's Fan First Friday. Like I said, was not expecting the Red Ecliptor beginning reveal there. Definitely was really happy about that. Even though we knew about everything happening here today, we didn't know things about like that website. The price point we had a little off. The release date and everything. Now you can pre-order it yourself. Reminder, there is no pre-orders for Red Ecliptor today unless some site just jumps the gun and does it anyway. So I'll keep an eye out for that and keep you guys updated on Lightning Storm, of course. And also, before I go, I'd like to let you guys know that usually I don't do a Lightning Storm episode on this Saturdays after a Fan First Friday, because usually there's just not a lot to talk about. In this case, there is a lot to talk about for this week. We had more pictures of the Power Pop Art variants for Wave 11 pop up. We had some details about Ninja White and stuff like that I want to talk about. So there will be a dedicated Lightning Storm episode tomorrow. I just didn't want to throw it all in here today, because this one is strictly a recap of the Fan First Friday. And then tomorrow, we'll barely talk about the Fan First Friday. We'll just dive into all the other news, So this one, dedicated Fan First Friday. Tomorrow, all the other stuff for the week. So you're still going to get a regular Saturday episode of Lightning Storm, because I also was not expecting a Fan First Friday this week. They just dropped it on us randomly on Tuesday night that it was going to happen. So that's all I got. Thank you all for watching. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Are you going to pick up the Zord Ascension Project Dino Megazord? Which Zords do you want to see them do? They said that they're always looking for fan feedback. Be sure to check out my live reaction to the live stream if you want to check that out here on my channel. And also all my videos from this past week, like my metallic armor reviews and my discussion on HasLab. So until next time, you can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or at LightningFigPR. And I'll see you all in Lightning Storm, the series where lightning always strikes twice.